Good morning and happy new month to you. Thank you for tuning into Market Insights. I am Lovina Emah. So today we are turning our spotlight on Africa's vast potential for biomass power generation, with a particular focus on Nigeria, the continent's powerhouse. Now, as you know, Nigeria faces a very significant challenge, and this challenge is providing reliable and sustainable electricity to its ever-growing population. While the country boasts of abundant natural gas reserves and its dependence on fossil fuels is not the most environmentally friendly solution, this is where biomass comes in. Now, I'll explain further. Biomass refers to an organic matter like agricultural waste, wood chips, even algae that is in water, wood chips, sawdust, algae that's found in water. It is a renewable energy source that can be converted into electricity through processes like combustion, gasification, or anaerobic digestion. In addition, Nigeria is blessed with an abundance of these biomass resources from its vast agricultural sector producing residues like rice husks, corn cobs, plentiful forestry resources. We have all the ingredients for a thriving biomass industry. But the benefits of biomass, yes, it's very good. We have the resources for it. It's renewable resource. You know, unlike fossil fuels, it can also help to reduce greenhouse emissions. Additionally, biomass can also be a relatively small scale and decentralized industry. So it will help to bring electricity to remote areas where grid extensions might not be feasible. As we know, in the rural areas, it's not so possible for people to get electricity. But with having a biomass source of energy or a biomass plant, I believe it can also reach people in the rural areas. Now, there will always be challenges to these things. Every new innovation has challenges. Now, one of the key challenges is to address sustainable sourcing of biomass. This is very crucial as it will prevent deforestation and land degradation. As you know, we need to get resources for the biomass from forest and also from wood too. So most of this is from the forest, and if we don't have a very sustainable source, it could lead to deforestation, and we don't want that. We want our natural forests to always thrive. Additionally, efficient conversion technologies and robust infrastructure is needed to make biomass power a mainstream solution. So this morning, my guests and I will explore further how to harness this potential to create a more sustainable energy that will be a secure energy source for the entire continent. So before we start our discussion, let's talk briefly about the stock market, how it fared on Friday, the last day of trading on June 28th. As you know, transactions on the floor of the stock exchange on Friday, 28th June 2024, closed on a positive note. The all-share index appreciated by 0.67%, settling at over 100,057 from the previous close of 99,396. This brings the year-to-date to 33.61%, the month-to-date to 0.83%, and week-to-date to 0.38% respectively. Market capitalization closed at 56.602 trillion naira, with an aggregate of over 500 million units of shares in traded deals at 7,945 deals, valued at over 9 billion naira. Now, the market's breadth closed positive as 34 equities gained, while 12 equities declined in share prices. So it was quite a bullish week last week, even though it didn't start off on a positive note, but it closed on a positive note. So when I said the bullish note, that means it closed positive. When I say the bearish note, that means it closed on a negative note. So to discuss further with me on how the stock market fared last week, I have my analyst online, Stephen Okafor. He's a stockbroker and a dealing clerk with over 20 years experience in the capital market, and he has also worked with CSL Stockbrokers and MBC Securities Limited, Zenith Securities Limited. Currently, he is the Managing Director and CEO of Kofana Securities and Investments Limited. So thank you for joining me on Market Insights, Stephen Okafor. Okay, can you unmute your microphone? Stephen Okafor appears to be having a bit of a technical issue, but he will join us shortly. So the markets did close. There were three last week. There were Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday was quite negative on those 3 days. But surprisingly, there was a positive turnaround from Thursday, and the week closed on a positive note on Friday. That was last week, Friday, 28th June, which is quite good, as I mentioned how 34 equities gained while 12 equities declined. So to discuss further with me on the top gainers and the top decliners last week, Stephen Okafor, are you here with us now? Okay, can you unmute your microphone, please? Okay, still a bit of a technical issue there. And like the guest I had last week, Friday, also mentioned that it's because of how trading fared with policies and also with the government's, rather, the banking sector, how they're coming to the stock market to actually increase their capital base. So this is also improving company shares. And we also talked briefly on Seplat Energy, how every week they always give their shareholders a weekly dividend. So that's quite good for those companies that always provide this weekly dividend for their companies. So let me just, okay, welcome to Market Insights, Stephen Okafor.
How are you? It's nice being with you. Good morning. Morning. Good morning. I hope you're hearing me.
Glad to have you on the program. So I was just speaking before you joined us that the market breadth closed positive last week, Friday, with 34 equities gaining and 12 equities declined. And the week, I would say the week closed on a relatively positive note, even though that was last week, the first 3 days started off on a negative note. But Thursday and Friday, the markets closed on a positive note, I beg your pardon. So, which is quite good. So, what's still on how trading activities fared last week, Friday? What do you think is responsible for this positive, how the week traded on a positive note last week? What factors do you think are responsible for this?
Yeah, generally, I think the recapitalization in the banking sector is bringing some excitement into the market. We are seeing the likes of Fidelity, Access Bank. Very soon, the GT Bank, that's GTCO, and the Zenith will join. Virtually all the banks, because of the recapitalization guidelines that CBN has given, will come in one way or the other to raise funds. So you understand, and that is going to make the market very, very bullish. You understand, and if we also look at United Capital is proposing interim dividend and a bonus issue, and which is the first of its kind. You understand? So shareholders are very, very excited about it. You understand? So by and large, we are going to see a situation where the market will continue to show some signs of improvement in the weeks ahead.
Dark Communications, Champion Breweries, University Press PLC, and Better Gas PLC. I mean, why are these companies the top decliners as of last week, Friday? This is how the week ended. What's responsible for them being the top decliners?
No, generally, you see this period, immediately after payment of dividend, you see there is actually investors are more like inclined to move their funds and realign their portfolio to stocks that will either give them something, something that will be worth the while, or alternatively, they move their funds to alternative assets like fixed income securities. So most of these stocks that you see that are top decliners are stocks that investors feel that they're not going to get anything from, and then they need to move their funds and then realign their portfolio as it is.
I believe with if they're sharing more dividends, I think they can rise above and be among the top gainers, looking at perhaps in this new week that we have entered for those companies that declined.
Yes. You see, the challenge is aside from dividend, you also need to understand that the current NPR It's making fixed income securities very, very attractive. So even when a stock or a share gives dividend and the dividend is not comparable to what investors will expect in the fixed income securities, it's not going to move prices prices per se. So by and large, the capital market, the stock market is competing heavily with the fixed income securities. It's just that currently the recapitalization in the banks is making investors are excited. More so, you're looking at a situation where the rights issue that is being offered, you don't want to dilute your holding in the bank, so you must take up your rights, and these rights are equally traded on the floor. So that's it. But for these other ones, that communications for a long time, they've not paid any significant dividend. Champion Breweries is there grappling with operational issues, and Better Glass, the same thing. So by and large, you see, for those ones that investors are not expecting anything fantastic, they will move their funds to an alternative asset.
Now, I'm looking at the all-share index as at Friday, 28th June. What is the significance of the all-share index surpassing 100,000 points? And what's the significance of this?
Yes, it's also, yeah, you see, what you have to understand is this, is a positive indication. It's just that you look at the situation where some of the high cap stocks are doing very well. You look at Presco, you look at Okomu, you look at Seplat, they are high cap stocks. So they have the tendency to move the all share index higher, even once they do very well. And if you look at a stock like Presco have moved from less than 230 to currently 359. You understand? And the Seplat was 1,000, less than 2,000 for a long time, and is currently above 3,000 per unit. So these are high cap stocks that have the tendency to move the capital market, the stock market. That's it. So that's why you see this lucrative. It's not like it's not a good performance, but because of the high cap stocks have skewed the performance and is giving it a very positive indication. Yes.
Okay, so this week now, today is July 1st. It's a new month and it's the start of a new week. So are there any concerns about the sustainability of the current positive trend in the markets? Like, do you think it will flow over to this new week, or we're going to see some changes?
No, it's going to flow. It's going to flow over. Like even I didn't mention MTN. MTN came low to, in fact, I did some transactions for clients at less than 200 and less than 209.
Mr.
Right
Stephen
now,
Okafor, I would have to interrupt your this conversation right now. The African Development Study Center. The African Development Study Center is currently collaborating with the Office of the Auditor General of the Federation to put together a week-long training for auditors in the ministry. So we're going live to the event right now, so do stay tuned.
To meet the challenges of today's dynamic public sector environment. Your partnership and support are invaluable as we strive to make meaningful impact for our consultancy and human capital development services. Thank you once again for your presence and participation. I wish you all a fruitful and engaging workshop. Like I said, Victor Washulu is my name. I am from the richest state, the best state in Nigeria, Kogi State. So it's a privilege to be here, and very soon we start our class, and to continue from now till the end of the week. And hopefully, I'm sure all of you will go back home with something tangible. Take away. We are here for a purpose, and that purpose must be achieved. Usually, the first day we look very, very slow. I look as if, do we know what we are doing at all? But I'm very, very sure by the end of the class today, we'll start getting accommodation, getting positive feedback from you. Auditor General, it's a privilege to have you with us here today. Honorable Clerk, it's also a privilege to have you here. And every participant that are seated here today, is a privilege to have you in this class. May God be with us all. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Let me invite the clerk to the House Committee on Public Accounts to just say a few words on behalf of our Honorable Chairman.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished participants, Auditor General, Good morning. Yeah, just I stand in for the chairman, but I'm not going to make a speech because he himself is going to be here to talk to you. Well, I just want to say that the program, just as been brief before coming here today, is going to be an elaborated and educative, interactive sitting in which I urge every one of us to sit down. Let us chip in our own destiny to make a better Nigeria. You are welcome.
Thank you so very much. And without any further ado, let me heartily invite the African General Federation to
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
All protocol duly observed and respected. I'm greatly honored and most pleased to be in the midst of accounting officers who are the drivers of government policies and performance. And even more ecstatic, the fact that this workshop, first in history, is holding today as a result of collaborative effort between the Public Accounts Committee and of the House of Representatives and the Office of Auditor General for the Federation. The theme, current trend in public sector accounting, auditing and public sector reforms, was therefore chosen in order to narrow the knowledge gap of the administrators of public resources, especially matters bordering on audit queries, intricacies of public account committee, public hearing, and public finance, to mention but a few. Distinguished participants, permit me to commend the chairman PAC, Representative Bamidele Salami, for his visionary leadership and thoughtfulness, who is determined to see a public sector that is devoid of leakages and wastages of public resources, which coincidentally are also essential ingredients of Mr. President's Renew Hope agenda. Rather than waiting for accounting officers to commit infractions before imposing sanctions, he chose to adopt a popular approach that says prevention is better than cure. By ensuring that accounting officers of MDAs are abreast of the real lines that can make them to be guests at public accounts hearing. This is where my office, being the foremost accountability institutions, came into equation. On my part, as the Auditor General for the Federation, I'm pleased to announce that I have initiated a series of reforms since assumption of duties and aim at repositioning the office of the Auditor General for the Federation for efficient service delivery. At the center of this reform is timely submission of quality audit reports to National Assembly to enable them perform their oversight as required by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended. In view of the foregoing objective, it was easy for the chairman, PAC, and I to agree on needs to organize this workshop to further entrench a culture of prudent management of our nation's financial resources. It is on this prime premise that I see this workshop as a win-win situation for key stakeholders who are desirous of strengthening our public accountability. Further to the submission of highly audit report, it is also my determination to make Auditor General's Office a model institution that will earn public confidence through professional conduct of its audit and periodic checks as enshrined by the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended, and other extant regulations. I came to this position because I was well aware of the general concern of auditees. Being a person that rose through the rank to become Auditor General for the Federation, this underscored the first circular I issued with reference that's on the 2nd of January 2024, centralization of issuance of letters of engagement. The circular under reference has a twin benefit of helping my office to track conduct of audit and ensuring timely submission of reports, as well as reducing incidents of multiple audit visits to one organization in a year. The implication of the circular is that any letter for audit assignments not signed by me should not be honored in any case. And in case you are in doubt of any letter for audit, feel free to contact me before granting access to the audit. On this workshop, I want to assure distinguished participants that the purpose that will be presented and the resource persons were carefully selected to keep you abreast of violations that constitute audit query, as well as the modus operandi of PSC public hearing. Other areas include, but not limited to, the rudiments of knowing the reporting framework that is appropriate for your NDAs, and an overview of key public sector financial management reform. The resource person, especially, are practitioners with considerable on-the-job experience and are more than capable of doing justice to their papers. Another major advantage of this workshop is that it is coming shortly after both the Accountant General of the Federation and Auditor General for the Federation. There's a mistake you people have been making. I'm not Auditor General of the Federation, but Auditor General for the Federation. Thank you. At this juncture, distinguished participants, it is my humble appeal that you make the best of this rare opportunity where the chairman of PAC and the Auditor General and the accounting officers are here in one room, that you people can, for a few days, to x-ray those things that have been bothering you. With the people here, I know you can gain a lot from them. Finally, I want to thank once again the chairman of PAC House of Representatives for this initiative and the accounting officers that made it to this workshop. I have no doubt that going forward, there will be improved efficiency in management of our public resources, a panacea for entrenching an enduring culture of public accountability. Thank you all for listening. Long live the Office of the Auditor General for the Federation. Long live the Public Accounts Committee, House of Representatives. Long live Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
Thank you for watching the program. So we had to switch live to the African Development Study Center. The organization is coordinating a training in partnership with the Office of the Auditor General of the Federation for auditors general across the Federation and also for CEOs. In addition, the Auditor General of the Federation, Shaka Chinto, was also at the event. That's Shaka Kanyito Chira. He's also at the event live. So in between this program, we'll also be going live to that event. So I want to also thank my guest, the stockbroker, Stephen Okafor, for joining us as we briefly analyzed how the stock market closed on a positive note on Friday. And hopefully this trend will also flow into this new week. as we're looking, today is July 1st, so hopefully it will also follow, this week will also close on a positive note. So that being said, our discussion for today, like I mentioned earlier on, is on biomass, powering Africa with biomass, and with a focus on Nigeria. So my guest to discuss further is Professor Abubakar Sani Sambo. He is a professor of mechanical engineering at Usmanu Danfodiyo University. He is also the chairman, member committee of the World Energy Council, and he's joining me virtually this morning on the Zoom platform. So Professor Sambo, are you here with us now?
Oh yes, I'm hearing you very well.
Have you on the program, and I'm glad you're here this morning. It's good to see you this morning. So yes, as you know, Nigeria, like many other African nations, faces a significant electricity deficit. So today we want to explore the potential of biomass as a renewable energy source to address this electricity challenge. So Nigeria is blessed with vast agricultural resources, and how do we now utilize this biomass for power generation? And apart from that, what specific opportunities and challenges does it present for us? So first of all, let's start with how to utilize biomass as a means of power generation.
Biomass, I think there's noise. You need to... Hello?
Okay, can you hear me now, Professor Sambo?
I can hear you now. Biomass can be used in two major ways. The first one is using the agricultural wastes to generate steam that can be expanded in a turbine to generate electricity. Then the second one is using biofuels in the form of biogas and biodiesel, again for electricity generation. Now, these biofuels, if they are on two levels, if you are generating gas, and that type of gas is called mainly biogas from anaerobic digestion of agricultural wastes, especially animal droppings, poultry droppings, livestock droppings that can be put in digesters, and after a few days, anaerobic digestion takes place and gas is released. Also, in that same line, we can have the municipal waste, the biodegradable components of municipal waste. They also get digested and produce biogas. The gas can be used also for electricity generation. In addition, the gas can also be used for cooking in the household and services sectors of our national economy. Now, on the other side of biofuels is what is referred to as biodiesel. Biodiesel is, it can be got from different sources. The most popular one is from jatropha. Jatropha exists in virtually all parts of Nigeria. It's a hedge, and in some farming communities, it is used to prevent goats from destroying farm plants. And the seeds of jatropha, when squeezed in an oil mill, one of the principal products is biodiesel, and that can be used in generators for electricity generation. The good thing is that the electricity generation from both biogas and biodiesel, they have much, much lower carbon footprint than mineral diesel and mineral petrol. So the scope is quite high for using biomass for electricity generation. Noting that at this particular moment, the electricity access of Nigeria is just about 62%, but even more worrying is the average annual electricity consumption per capita of the country, which is a little less than 200 kilowatt hour for each Nigerian on average. while the sub-Saharan African average is about 500 kilowatt hour, and the world average is about 3,000 kilowatt hour. So you can see Nigeria is far down the ladder in terms of electricity availability. Access 62, you may say is not bad, but the availability is much worse.
Yes, yes. Thank you for that, Professor Sambo. Yes, that's a big challenge in Nigeria right now, the availability of this electricity. And yeah, like you mentioned, the use of jethro to power generators, yes, as a source of energy. So that's also a very good advantage of this biomass. So now, what specific opportunities does this using biomass as a source of energy, what opportunities does it pose for us in Nigeria? Let's just start with our country first of all, because right now we are always using this fossil fuels. So if we switch to biomass, can we have it as an energy mix in like both biomass and the fossil fuels? Yeah, your thoughts on this, Professor Sambo?
It can be in the energy mix. Actually, biomass is part of renewable energy, and renewable energy is already in the mix, but not being pursued to the level we are talking about at this particular moment. Definitely, yes, it can be. And then if it is going to be done, it has got to go. We need to get the groups to start generating electricity through it. Down in 2006, 2007, when the federal government approved the national biofuel policy of the country, we were thinking that that will automatically lead to a large utilization of biomass biofuel, but it didn't. And it was simply because instead of the government ensuring that off-takers are identified for taking the other part, actually, that biofuel policy was approved when the Ministry of Petroleum wanted to get approval from federal government to be blending automotive gas oil with diesel on the one hand, with biodiesel on the one hand, and to be blending premium motor spirit on the other hand with ethanol. Now, automotive gas oil, you know, is diesel, mineral diesel, and then premium motor spirit is simply petrol. So the ministry wanted to get approval to blending petrol with ethanol on the one hand, and to blending diesel with biodiesel. And when the approval was given, many of us thought the ministry will set the machinery in motion to get Nigerians to start producing the feedstocks for producing ethanol on the one hand, as well as the feedstocks for producing biodiesel on the other hand. That didn't happen. And that's why the situation is still the way it is now. If the government can do what I've just said, then the cost will be clear for Nigerians to go into large-scale farming to produce ethanol and also farming to produce biodiesel. And that will entail planting much more of the feedstocks that are not competing with food. And I would not openly recommend the common feedstocks for ethanol like corn, maize, and cassava because they are food items. But I would recommend there are some types of elephant grass that when they are squeezed, the liquid ferments and produces ethanol. And then on the other hand, I would recommend plants like jatropha, which grows on all parts of the country and which requires very little fertilizer and rainfall. And so it will be good, and then it is not edible. So these are the two products that I would recommend. If we can do this in a big way, then we have ethanol for use mainly in industries and also for use in the transport sector, because ethanol can be used for small vehicles, and then biodiesel can be used for electricity generation and also in the transport sector for buses, trucks, and so on and so forth. If we can organize this farming in a big way to produce jatropha and then to process it the oil mills, and then also to plant these special types of elephant grass and process will create thousands, if not millions, of job opportunities for Nigerians in the farming sector and the agro-allied industry associated with them. So this potential is very high, and it will help Nigeria. In fact, when we produce this ethanol and biodiesel, as I'm discussing, it will help us to conserve our mineral oil and gas, mineral diesel and petrol. It will conserve, because when you blend with this produced from the farms, it will make our oil and gas last more years to come.
Okay, thank you for that, Professor Sambo. Yes, yes, there are a lot of benefits, and there's a lot of opportunities in this industry, powering our country with biomass. There are a lot of potentials in this. But okay, as I mentioned earlier on, like you also said, yes, we can get the resources for biomass from animal waste, municipal waste, plant waste, and so beyond waste. Now, what other forms of biomass can be sustainably cultivated to specifically fuel power generation? And let's just talk about what would the economic implications of this be for local farmers?
What is happening is that local farmers, they will now increase their productivities and get much more income for themselves and indeed for the nation. So it's a win-win situation. A country that has done very well in this regard is Brazil. Brazil went into this several decades ago, and then on the other side of the world, Malaysia and Indonesia also moved in this area in a very big way, and their farmers did very well. In the case of Brazil, there's no competition with food production, because what the country did, I headed a team that went there partnering with Brazilians on energy and on biofuels and hydropower, and we discovered it's an issue of decade planning. They planned what the feedstocks were that are needed as food items, and then they produce a lot extra for production of ethanol and biodiesel. And with that, there was no competition between food and fuel, and their farmers became much richer, and everybody was happy at the end of the day. So farmers in Nigeria will increase their productivity, and they will be guided. It's not just that we leave them to do it the way they want. They will be guided, and when they are guided, and we have plans and the relevant government agencies regularly visit them, then there will be no competition between food. On the other hand, they will be richer, and everybody will be happy at the end of the day.
Thank you so much, Professor Abubakar Sani Sambo, for joining us on Market Insight this morning as we discuss the potentials of empowering Africa with biomass. And let's start with our country, Nigeria. You have definitely mentioned the benefits of using biomass, how we can get these resources, both the animal waste and the plant waste also, and the benefits of using jethropa and also elephant's grass to power to increase our electricity generation. So thank you so much for joining me on Market Insight this morning, Professor Abubakar Sambo. That's our time this morning as we discuss these issues, and we're still going to be moving live to the program with ASDC in a short while. But thank you so much for watching today's episode of Market Insights. As my guest has said, there are so many benefits using biomass, and getting the resources is equally easier. So it's not something that will affect farmers' productivity. They will just have to increase their productivity, and getting this crops or like elephant's grass and also just jethropa will definitely increase our power generation in our country. Many thanks for watching today's episode of Market Insights. Do share your comments on our social media platforms and also more insights that you would like us to discuss on the program. Many thanks for watching. I am Lovina Emah.